Welcome back. Now, legal activities have commenced in full swing in almost all courts across the country. After the annual vacation, one of the highlights of the activities to kickstart the legal year is the conferment of the prestigious rank of Senior Advocate of Nigeria on deserving lawyers. In this report, we talk more about the criteria, the procedure through which successful applicants must meet to enjoy the privilege of being conferred with the rank. We also have some suggestions that could help improve the process.
It is the dream of every person to be successful and respected. It is also the dream of every person to reach their peak and be the best or one of the best in their vocation or profession. For practicing lawyers, the conferment of the rank of Senior Advocate of Nigeria, SAN, is one of the most prestigious honors in the Nigerian legal profession. The rank is conferred on a lawyer who has practiced in Nigeria for not less than 10 years. Such a lawyer must apply, pay the application fee of 300,000 naira, and must of course meet certain other requirements. The conferment is made in accordance with Section 5, Subsection 1 of the Legal Practitioners Act 2007, Laws of the Federation 1990, now Cap L11, Volume 8, Laws of the Federation 2004.
The Legal Practitioners Privileges Committee is saddled with the primary responsibility for setting out the guidelines. Over the years, it has changed from one requirement to the other. Lately, it has added things like requirements for pro bono cases, but largely the requirements for a number of cases that you must have handled from the lower courts all the way to the appellate courts. You must be of good character and standing, and we must have recommendations from judges and fellow legal practitioners, particularly the MBA in the areas where you practice. Mainly, you must have a good office and a good library, because you have members of the panel who would visit to verify your claims and verify that you meet the requirements in terms of the environment where you operate from. And then there's the face-off, which is the interview, where you are physically examined and asked questions, and then an assessment is done, a shortlist is made, and then the panel sits down to decide among the list that they have, those they intend to confer in that year amongst the list that they've made. So it goes from stage to stage, and but the minimum requirements has to do mainly with the cases that you have handled.
We also have the people in the academia who are also being conferred with the rank of the Senior Advocate based on the number of books that they have written, which the Privileges Committee think have enriched the practice of law in the country. They are usually considered for the rank of the Senior Advocate. For them, you can say they are double, also to say, lucky in the sense that they can eat their cake and have it. Whereas those of us who are not in academia cannot become professor. Those who are in academia can become a Senior Advocate of Nigeria.
The title of SAN was first conferred on late legal icons Chief F.R.A. Williams and Dr. Nebo Graham Douglas on April 3, 1975. 3 years later, in 1978, the rank was conferred on the late Chief Obafemi Awolowo, Chief Fani Kayode, Chief G.O.K. Ajayi, and 10 others. Of that lot, only Chief Richard Akinjide and Professor Ben Nwabueze are still alive. By the end of 2014, however, about 408 lawyers had been conferred with the rank of Senior Advocate. The SANs are entitled to wear silk gowns and call their cases out of turn. They enjoy similar privileges as the Queen's Counsel in the United Kingdom, from where this practice was borrowed. In the recent past, however, there has been controversy, particularly with regards to the process and the choice of those awarded. Some lawyers have even gone as far as calling for the abolition of the rank.
we should, as much as possible, try to create a level playing ground when we try to assess people or when people apply for these ranks. I'll give you an example. You go to some lawyers' offices, it is posed, the layout, they have all the complements of electronic gadgets and other. And you go to some other lawyers' places and other, you don't find that kind of a posh environment that you really think should be there. It doesn't really mean that the man who doesn't have a posh environment is not a good advocate. Tastes differ. You also find that there are some lawyers in this country who are more into what we call a public interest litigation. Their intention really is not to make money, but to render services to humanity. You find that their practices, 70% of it is public interest pro bono services. Such lawyers might not have a beautiful, so to say, office that the Privileges Committee, for example, want to see when they go out trying to assess people who qualify to become senior advocates of Nigeria. The other angle to it is if you begin to assess a man practicing in Zamfara State or in Niger State with a man practicing in Lagos State, for example, or even practicing in a place like Ibadan or in Ogun State, are you creating a level playing ground? I wouldn't think so. And then there's also the ethical aspects of it. Not too long ago, a senior advocate practicing in Ibadan has been derobed for trying to compromise an election petition. One was also suspended here in Lagos not too long ago. And then our friend also sometimes had challenges before some of our friends had challenges before they eventually get it. So let us emphasize not just the appearances alone. I will also want us to be looking at the area of ethics. In fact, I think ethical issues should constitute about 50% of the requirement to be conferred with the rank of senior advocate.
I think the number of people who are conferred with the rank in any given year is low. I subscribe to the view which our erudite, learned Silk, Chief Abibalola has expressed in the reports I've read not long ago, that there should be a process should enlarge itself and allow more people who are qualified. Because I think what has increased the agitation and the disappointment of so many over the years is that a number of people go to the process, and at the end of that process, you have a short list of them who are, by basic qualification, entitled to that conferment by your own standards. And when the outcome of the race is announced, some people are left out, and then they go back to the queue again to start. So the enlargement of the number of people who are considered from year to year, I think is a very important issue to be addressed. In England, where we borrowed this idea from, the number of conferments in any given year outstrips what we consider here.
Out of a total number of 124 applicants who have applied for the rank this year, the committee has conferred the rank of Senior Advocate of Nigeria on 21 of the applicants.
21 legal practitioners were conferred with the rank on Monday, the 21st of September. The successful lawyers include the National Legal Advisor of the All Progressives Congress, Dr. Muiz Banire, the Director Legal Services of the Independent Electoral Commission, Ibrahim Bawa, Emeka Etiaba, the son of Dame Virgie Etiaba, the former Deputy Governor of Anambra State, and Dr. Dolapo Olanipekun, the son of a former President of the Nigerian Bar Association, Chief Wole Olanipekun.